So this is a carburetor I had laying around. That's a 600 Edelbrock. I'm going to give it a try. I cleaned out a bunch of ports on it. I bought it with the guy saying it had some, idle problems. And, but it seems to pump. That part seems to be okay. And so that's seemingly okay. And, hopefully I don't have to fully rebuild this, but I cleaned out all these metering things. These were all had caked up stuff, which can cause idle problems, and there might be more dirt in there actually. It gets loosened up every time I play with it. It seems like it's like red, some kind of red dye almost, like that's the varnish from something probably. But this was much dirtier. But it does not seem like these metering rods have holes in them. It's a similar carburetor to the other one, but I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Damn it. Come on. So I know my eyes can't see that. I'm not sure. I don't have a light on this thing. Come on, where the hell are you? I'm getting the grain of my freaking pants. What happened? Oops, covered the... Oh well. Well, I'm going to put it in and see what happens. If this thing, I'm going to clean it up a little bit more and put it back together. This is actually a little simpler carburetor because it's basically one piece other than the top. But these things unbolt. So I took out the front, cleaned them all out. I blew brake cleaner through all these ports. They all seem to be working and going through. So definitely this guy's car wasn't running that great. But kind of seems to be okay. Hopefully these guys work. They didn't at first. They were kind of, but I threw some brake cleaner in there, and then, they both work better than the other carburetor do, to be honest. So we'll see. All right, I gotta put the hoses on, put antifreeze in it. I don't know if you even heard that. Okay, that's a fast idle because of the choke, but I have to put antifreeze in and I got to put the hoses on. So 30 seconds at a time, but it seems to run, this one, so take it from there. Okay, so when I took it apart, I found the thing in there. I just put it back on and just tried to, use it again, and just push the cover on and try to hit it a few times, and it fell off again. And I kind of always remember there being something like a snap ring in there holding a what do you call it? A ball, a check ball. But this carburetor may not be like that. That's why it was supposed to be simple. But for some reason now this thing is falling off, much like the other one had a problem. And I don't understand why I can't get it to really plunger. And this was in the bottom, but maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe this is supposed to be between here, but there's a spring in here already, so that part I don't quite understand. Although then again, I gotta look at an exploded view of this. Seems awfully loose, but I mean, I can see a spring dragging it down, but I remember taking the spring out of here, so somebody may have had it apart. And I just put it back together. Oh, look at this. I left this fucking screw loose. Maybe that's something. Maybe. I took it off And then I go, I got the gas to go through, so it's no big deal. But I still can't see that being a vacuum leak, but maybe it is. I just still can't see it being that much of a vacuum leak, to be honest. I guess I'm going to take it off now, just to see where else this leads to. I just think this is a fuel discharge, and that's it. So if anything, you know, you could see gas coming out of the screw hole maybe or something like that. But because I was going to take it off, and I go, because sometimes you take these off and the gasket is no good, you know. But it looks relatively normal. I never did take that guy out. I got to put on my reading glasses to see the video even. I don't see anything wrong. Granted, I didn't take that out yet. But I don't understand where this vacuum leak is coming from. It's pretty hard to have a vacuum leak in this carburetor that would make it go sky high like that. But, you know, when you have other problems, you have to question, well, what went on here, you know? And being that I lost I found it together, and I plunged it in there, and it seemed to work. And I said, the screwdriver broke. I gotta have two hands. All right, let me take this off and then plunge it, do some tests, see what happens. So I was pushing it so hard in there that the check ball came out with the brass huya. A little dirty in there, but I got it to come out on its own, just with the plunger. So I'm not quite sure where that spring goes. I don't know if you're supposed to put it this way. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember how the other one was now. Oh, the other one had it was all sealed, but I'm wondering if there was a double spring, like the spring that went over this. But that looks like a spring pocket down there. It truly does. But it's funny how... Oh, let's see. Oh, Jesus, that squared up on my camera and everything. But it might just be... Oh. I don't understand why I kept flipping over. It seems so easy to flip over as well. What's funny is that tangled in the... Yeah, like right there. I'm not quite sure. Was it get so unaligned when I'm trying to put it in? I blew out all the jets, and I blew out all the little holes in these things. I did not take off these two, but I got all the holes to blow. This was moving. The butterflies are moving. Granted, when you have the choke thing in the way, it does not, but that's what it's designed to do. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Gotta release. Yeah, so it is released. I just... Come on. That's pulling down. Yeah, that's bottomed out all the way. That's hitting that stop right there. So if I look in here, yeah, they're wide open. Now they're just closed. I didn't want to lose all the gas, but like there was a gasket that was stuck on here, and I had to scrape it off. And I just don't see it being that much of an issue. You can see the scrape marks. Yeah, but I don't know if this is part of like a vacuum leak. Like Maybe it's supposed to have the gasket with the 4 holes instead of the open flange. I don't know. I'm going to have to research this tonight because something's weird. Oh, you're just trying to get to a fucking place that you can go to the next step. And, like, I can't blame there's something wrong with the engine until, you know I have a good carburetor on there, especially when it comes to something like high idle. It's like, what, the that would really suck if it was milled so much, the engine, because there was a mill now that I think about it, but it's not like the holes didn't line up, So, it's like I can't see it being so far off that the intake leaks, but it wouldn't run good, I think. It would lean out on one cylinder and it'd be a little rough. Like it did kind of have a miss, but, we know in the earlier videos I had some issues with the rings there because the motor was stuck in one place. There was, what do you call it? There's roughness on the cylinder. So, like, it was actually smoking on the passenger side. I can't even remember what side the rust was on, to be honest. I thought it was on the driver's side. But then it cleared up, But that's kind of normal. Like, engine hasn't run in a long time, and it was sitting in the rust, and I took off the heads and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, like, I could get the engine to go so high that the only way they got it down is by putting the screws in. So I'm thinking there's some kind of disruption, but it's not so much a disruption as much as, like, extra fuel is being sucked in, and then the only way to get it to even out is because it will even out. A lot of times on carburetors, when there's some other problem, you can't adjust these screws enough to make it right. And I'm able to make it right. I'm able to fucking unscrew the screws, and it just keeps raising the idle. So I'm a little bewildered by that. But I don't think the base gasket is the problem, This is not the box for this carburetor. I can put it in there. But I gotta do some research and get an exploded view of this and see what the deal is. But not happy. I'm putting a lot of time in this, and it's just like, why can't anything work out of the box? I just don't understand it. So, and being that I have possible accelerator pump problem, it's another thing, like I said, it's very possible. It just, when it warms up, it gets fucked up, But I literally tried to push the carburetor on, and this thing came up, and it got stuck. But when I'm doing it now, it's not getting stuck. So I don't know if it just cooled off enough. I mean, the carburetor wasn't, like, hot by any means. I can't get it to fall out just by pushing on it. Kind of gets stuck right there, but maybe it's probably blown up or something like that. What would be causing a vacuum leak that would make it compensate? I mean, it might be in these needle, the what do you call it? It might be in these. It's the only other thing I can think of, So I'm going to try to take it apart more and see if I see anything that's wrong. Didn't necessarily see anything wrong, so I don't know. Maybe they're hung up. But usually these things, when these things go bad, they get stuck, and it, like, as soon as you hit the gas, it stalls. As soon as you hit the gas, it stalls. So, but in conjunction with a bad accelerator pump, it could definitely do weird things. So I'm not quite sure, but the idle should not be ridiculously high like this. It really shouldn't be. So I'm not quite sure where to go from here. I want to do this in real time, so you can almost tell how it's golden there. Now I just sprayed it, and more red shit came out, which is what I was getting before. I gather it's copper, what I'm seeing, but it had a tinge of red. So now I'm just pulling this one up for the first time. And where is it? I don't know if it's supposed to be just copper. But when I sprayed it, though, I got some... yeah. Unless this can of this brake cleaner is more red. They're making them like some kind of red stuff in there. which I didn't think so. Let me just put this in here for now. Yeah, I mean, the fluid looks like it's red in there. I mean, when it's in here, I mean, I was spraying it, but it's not definite, but I mean, it looks clear. So, I mean, it's supposed to be clear. And that's not from this car. If anything, it's leftover stuff. But here's the thing, you know, even after doing all that, it's like when you put it in here, it's moving very easy. These things get stuck, and then the car doesn't run right. But that's just it. It's like running kind of okay, but you got to adjust the screws to compensate for whatever fuel or whatever is being used. So again, I'm not sure if these things are supposed to have holes in them or what. I'm really not seeing that. This car, the other carburetor, I wasn't sure. This one, I'm a little more convinced there's no holes in here. Like, I think they do it through different means. These were pretty dirty on the outside before. Now they're not. I can't say there's like tons of evidence of something heinously wrong here. Now, the thing that I was concerned about, no, I don't even think so. Like, I had this on here, and I was saying how I left the screw loose, but I don't think the screw would have hit anything. And if I did, and it was not all the way down, would that be a vacuum leak? I'm pretty sure you can run these carburetors with the top off, and it'll run on the idle circuit, you know? So I'm a little, like, what the hell could be wrong here? That the idle is so fucking high, you know? All these holes, they all blew out. But usually when they're, you know, when they're clogged, the car doesn't run good at all, you know? It's very, very odd. And I really think I would have noticed that, you know, like putting on the top that there was something wrong, you know? I just don't think that creates the problem that I was having. Now, I mean, and I even cleaned these out. These, you know, when you spray in here, usually it's clean when you see it spraying like that, you know? Now, I don't know if it's just one of these things that the carburetor, because it's one piece, it needs to be ultrasonically cleaned, and it'll get to all the crevices, and, you know, in some cases, when you have it really dirty, you got to pop out all these, drill out these plugs, or pop them out and then fill them with lead, or whatever the hell they have, some kind of plug, you know? But most of the time it's because it's clogged with dirt, and if it's clogged with dirt, it ain't going to run right. It actually just wants to race really high, you know? And I'm not getting anything having a sort of, you know, high idle, a vacuum leak from it, you know. I really hope it's not some kind of external thing, or the intake manifold itself, or something like that, because that would be a real big bummer. I don't know what else to think at the moment. So, but 90% of the time it's a vacuum leak, and usually you can find it very easily. It would be very, very horrible if the engine has to be taken apart. And even if I adjusted the rocker arms wrong, it just, if you loosen them too much, it's not like you get the maximum vacuum, but if it would start clacking, number one. But if you go all the way down, the car will stall. It'll run bad. The valves will be open on a compression stroke, and yeah, that creates a vacuum leak, but it also doesn't complete the combustion. This seems like combustion's being completed, and before the intake valve, you know, there's a vacuum leak. So, and I took off the power brake booster, and it was like no difference. I'm kind of lost here. I don't know if maybe it just needs more time for a valve to seat, but even then, even if a valve was, it wouldn't be running good. I wouldn't have to choke it out in order for it to idle to go down. That's why I had to make it like extremely, extremely rich in order for the idle to go down. You know, I've had some carburetors in the past that there's nothing I could do. I put a new carburetor in and fucking solve the problem. So, I've rebuilt a bunch of carburetors, but I don't, taking it apart and doing everything and being able to diagnose it a little bit different, I like to think I kind of know what I'm looking at, but, when you have an unknown engine and unknown this and unknown that, and you start to second guess yourself, It's funny how there's gas in here, but then it's probably because I flipped it over. Not quite sure what's doing this. I don't know if somebody changed the jets out of it and it's just like ridiculous now. I don't see the throttle getting stuck open. I really seriously doubt a worn rod would do that. A worn rod would make it run like shit, and a vacuum leak usually makes it run like shit. It's kind of like almost like fuel, like a vacuum leak on a fuel injection where it starts to compensate more. So, and I had the screw here all the way down. Unless it's stuck, I guess I'm going to let this gas out. But, no, when it's all the way down, it's basically closed off. I'm not quite sure. Doesn't even look terribly old or terribly dirty. I'm just not getting that sensation here. I stuck a piece of wire through the holes in the manifold because it's an Amazon manifold, believe it or not. I got an intake manifold for like $100 on Amazon, and I stuck a wire through the extra holes because there's 4 holes. I was wondering if that was a vacuum leak, like if you shine a light from the phone, I would see maybe light go through, or shine a light here, you'd see it come through one of the holes, but you just don't. It's really not looking like there's an issue here. And man, I didn't put silicone on the intake ports. I just didn't think that was necessary, but you also kind of feel like it does, the holes don't line up. I'm not getting any of that. I didn't have any apparent problem. It really could be nothing in just the carburetor. I hit the button by mistake, but it really could be nothing. It could be just the carburetor and that's it. But it makes you get worried because this one had a high idle too, but there's something wrong, and I know this. Like it definitely the what do you call it? The accelerator pump on both of them were off, but I don't know how that changes anything, or if it sucks in more, allows more fuel to get sucked in somehow. Maybe if the fuel bowl was filled and this is like this seal totally fell off. The other one, like the seal wasn't even round. It was, like triangle shaped. So maybe the natural movement, like it draws it past. I don't know. It's very odd. I'm going to say that much. But, oh, look at that. I push all... There goes my compressor. I push all the way down. That's when it gets stuck. I had no spring in there, though. But so you think that the spring might actually, keep it from going down like that. So why was I able to push it down, Why is it getting stuck? Did somebody change it? Is it the wrong one, You could feel it gets tighter. So if I have this on, and I'm I mean, why was I actually able to even push it all the way down to get stuck in the... I can put it all the way down there, but it didn't get stuck right now. I guess it depends if it's submerged in fluid. I'm kind of wobbling around here. It seems so crappy, you know. I'm wondering if that hole is just for this thing to seat in there. But if it seats in there, like I said, if I do it without the spring, like if I go past this point, I guess this point is good. Although it's kind of tight. Huh, you wonder if this is even right. That's so weird. I gotta look at the blow up of this carburetor. I really don't know, to be honest. So, and, I'm not convinced that, but I'm not convinced it's not something wrong with the engine, let's say, you know, like something weird. But all roads usually lead to this. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what's happening here. I don't know if there's maybe the wrong size jets with the metering rods. If somebody played with them, does it suck more? I mean, the idle circuit, I guess, is that, you know, is where they lift up with the change of vacuum. You know, is it not getting vacuum in here? Is there another thing I missed? I always thought it just pulled with engine vacuum because I don't know. That's what it's got. I don't know what it leads to be honest. These things are plugged up. I'm just not seeing like the super duper obvious thing, and it makes me worry that there's something else wrong. But almost every instance, something like that happens, and it runs like shit. It doesn't like still run good if you play with the screws. I play with the screws up. Idle goes way high. I keep repeating myself. I'm putting it in my head. I'm like, what else can it be? You know? So, and the other thing is like they were saying with the intake manifold, you had to do this, and it's like a lot of I was reading other things online, and they had this. Everybody had the same kind of idea where put this guy back on here. They have the gasket, the metal piece here, and then another gasket. Unless I'm not supposed to do that. I'm not supposed to leave out a gasket? I don't know. Maybe I should just try it without this metal plate. I don't know. You know, very weird, I must say. Not happy. Putting a lot of time into like stupid stuff. I always hate the stupid things, you know, but oh well, it goes with the job. All right, unfortunately, I did not find anything wrong with the main primaries and secondaries as far as staying open. I know this one, there you go, it's all the way closed. I actually kind of want it open when I do this, but I have this new ultrasonic cleaner that I'm going to be using, and I'll see how it comes out. I really didn't have any solution. The things I'm reading about, you know, whether it's too alkaline or too acidic, it'll hurt aluminum. So I kind of don't want to do that. However, what do you call it? Sorry, trying to talk, figure out how this opens, and put it in. And it's nice and big, this guy, so the whole carburetor can fit in here. And hopefully, I got it on a shelf that is a little tight, so I think I can get the basket in. I don't know about this guy. This guy might have to play with to get it in or put it in afterwards. I'll find out in a second. All right, I had to pull this out halfway, and then I'll sneak it in. So, I've had it only on for a few minutes. I guess it's getting relatively hot. Quick. Anyway, I got all four things other than the floats are floating, which I guess signifies the floats were good. New kit I bought comes with new floats. So I have it set to 65 degrees Celsius. Of course, everything on Vivor is, and they don't make anything. I accidentally bought something that the same thing on both, not an electric item like this, but in any case, I have it set to 65. It should be like 150 degrees, and I'm not sure how many minutes I'm going to put and how much, how quick it's going to heat up. I figure I'd let it heat up a little bit and see how vigorous this is. I don't know if I should. I got for 30 minutes. I don't know if this thing even feels warm. It actually does. It feels slightly warm. What I used is this vapor rust, which I lost the cap for, just hanging out. So I threw some in. It was very little left, but it said contains no acids or alkalis. So I'm like, that's actually pretty good. That means it's neutral, because that's what they say you want. You want a neutral cleaner, because you don't want to discolor the aluminum and stuff like that. So curious how. Ooh, that's pretty vigorous. Adding more. Otherwise, taking a few minutes to clean that part, but I don't even have the whole thing down, so I think I'm going to shut it off and reset it a little. Either that or I'm going to add more water. Yeah, I just added some more water. 30 minutes is even enough. I mean, 30 degrees 31 degrees Celsius is probably like only 80 degrees or something like that. It felt warm to me though, so I don't know. But not super warm. Now I just added cold water, so it didn't change the temperature, so it might be hot on the bottom but not on the top. So we'll see how it comes out. So this is an interesting carburetor I have. It looks clean on camera, but it is filthy. Now this carburetor, so this is a carburetor that I have up in the attic here. As you can see, I'm looking down. All my parts and shit all over the place. Anyway, I remembered I had this. Remember these big annual boosters? Something you saw on a Ford, like a Ford Bronco carburetor on their 600. But I believe this is a 750 double pumper. Maybe, I don't think 850, because I don't think they made it like this. But I rebuilt this carburetor and I asked my friend, can you put on your engine and please test it for me? He never did. Obviously it needs a dual feed. And in the bottom here, it has, it's a Holley that's a spread board. How about that? So it's kind of like a super unique carburetor. And the more I'm looking at it, though, like, I'm not sure if this much overhanging in the back would interfere with what I got going on this car, just for testing purposes. But, I mean, technically, I can just hook up the front fuel line. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. Just to test it, because it's never been used. And there's a ton of vacuum lines on it. I don't know what the fuck this is. I guess that's just a vacuum line, but I don't know if my friend tried it or not now. But this is one of those short-lived carburetors that you bolt from the top, and it was like an old Ford style, like a motorcraft carburetor incorporated with the Holley design, and it was supposed to compete with the Carters, the one-piece Carters that you saw me just take apart. And I'm not sure. I mean, I gather this is a quadriga. The inner bolt holds like the same bolt pattern as that, or maybe it's the outer bolt pattern with the inner bolt pattern. I don't know. No. Interesting though. Not sure if it's terribly worth my time to try to put this on and deal with it, but it'd be very curious to see if this one also had a very high idle, you know, because like I said, I can't really find anything like super duper wrong with the with that carburetor that would make it do what it's doing, other than dirt being in some place that it's not allowing it to be. I don't know if the vacuum is pulling down those springs, or the valves are moving too easily, or something like that. For the I forgot what they call them, but they leave me. I'm not like I figure out carburetors and I put them together and they work. But I don't know all the names, and I don't know, you know, super duper diagnostics. You know, I figure it out as I go. And when I see something wrong, but when I don't see something wrong, I'm like, I'm thinking of something wrong with the engine or something like that. But it kind of doesn't make sense with everything I did, you know. So yes, the block was definitely decked at one time, but I mean, fuel injection manifold was on it. This was runoff fuel injection, this engine. The only thing I changed was the intake, you know, short of the intake cracking. I don't know, you know, but even then, I would think that it would not run well, you know. I would think that because it runs well, because I can adjust those screws, and the idle goes up, so it's leveling out. You know, a lot of times you get problems where the carburetor screws don't do shit. You know, that's a bigger concern usually. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, but it's a possibility I could try to do something, but I don't know. It's been sitting. I rebuilt this thing like 15 years ago, and it never got put on a car, from what I know. So I guess I'll try to make a decision. Yeah, so it definitely uses the inner bolts. This gasket would not fit. I would need to get a quadrijet gasket for sure. You know, these are definitely weird things. Yeah, I wish I could see a crack in the manifold or something. Did I tighten this too tight and crack it because it's made in China? I don't think so. I think they would be. I should actually open the thing, but then again, this is open, so it's like I was feeling this and I was getting nothing from it, and I made a big vacuum leak. It didn't even change. Very, very frustrating, to say the least. I just can't believe that the what do you call it? The rocker arms would make it run like that. It's just like a lot of things. I don't know. So I'm gonna check this one though to see if the secondaries are on. That's what somebody was saying. Basically, is like you gotta check them. They end up being on. The other one wasn't though. Still had a high idle and had a similar thing to it. But that one, both of them, the accelerator pump was so bad. It was such an impact that it's very hard to figure that out. And I'm not sure what happens when that's bad, if something changes with the vacuum inside the carburetor. But I'm going to take a look at this and see if anything is on that shouldn't be on. So as you can see, the choke here, you know, because on the other carburetor they had newer ones. I guess that's an old one, but a newer one has a screw on this side, and I can understand all these screws getting, you know, weird. But no matter what, I made sure the choke was off. When it is off, this is not going to be up, you know. So when this guy, see, right now I passed it, and the throttle plates are all closed. There is nothing that leads me to believe that there's some other issue here. I'm really wondering if it's just within this. I mean, this tube leaks. That's like a problem to me. But this is all accelerator pump stuff. And again, I know that's just a bubble of gas. And then technically I should see air going through here. Air light, I should say. This little guy, that's where the a little bit of air, a little bit of light. Yeah, that's interesting. Not really seeing. Yeah, because the spring goes there. Oh, that would be interesting. And what's that little pin? There's a pin going sideways there. I'm going to take out these jets because now I'm wondering, because it's weird how the jets are screwed into this. And I'm trying to... carburetor. I guess these are the primary ones, but the thing is that it doesn't quite seem... Again, this carburetor is more like a thermoquad, and I never took apart a thermoquad, but I hear people say that this is really a good carburetor, like it's a cross between, you know, a thermoquad, a Carter, and a Q-Jet, you know? So, I mean, that's weird in itself. Whoops. That's wonderful. I love when shit falls out that I'm not sure about. I gather this is from the inside here. Oh, this rod linkage is stuck behind. Alright. Well, I'm going to investigate this a little further. I want to see if maybe I'm, you know, wasn't realizing that these things are dirty. I thought I saw the rods go through, but then again, you know, there was so much corrosion and shit. Huh. Like, I really, maybe I got to get them out and put them in my hand, the jets, so I can see better. Alright, so those are off, and what comes out here is these rods here, and there is a little hole in these metering rods. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. Why don't you want to focus? Alright, so that hole. So, and there's a hole obviously on this side, wherever this meeting rod is. That was 30 minutes? Jesus, that doesn't seem... That thing just beeped. I'm a little shocked at that. I can't believe I spent 30 minutes since I turned it on. Apparently so. Just went back to 30 minutes. It's only at 51 degrees Celsius, whatever the fuck that is, a little over 100. So I guess the only thing else I can do with this is, because I'm just trying to look for something that would increase the idle. Like if it was increasing the idle on the secondaries, I can, you know, see that. Something's weird. So if I stick the brake cleaner, can you see? Oh, I still have it on zoom, huh? Not really a cinematographer. Where's this? Okay. Okay, so that one's clear. Or at least clear-ish. This one, can you see it? Oh. Well, that's going through both ways. I didn't notice this one was going through both ways. Yeah. Very frustrating. You know, to see a smoking gun kind of thing. But, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to find with all this, but we'll see. So you see like that's a little green thing there. You know, like little pieces of shit. But I think largely where it is and what what the impact is negligible, non-existent. This idle was up. I didn't have it closed all the way, so I remember not being able to really reach in there and turn the thumb screw part of it, and I think I was struggling finding a screwdriver, but can't say that this car was not really running right at all with this carburetor, so I'm not 100% sure. I didn't even turn these screws in the front here, so that's the other thing. There might be a few things that just threw me off with the second carburetor, being that I had a high idle, but it didn't seem right, and I knew that there was a problem with the accelerator pump, so I kind of gave up on this carburetor. I went further on the second carburetor, only to find one of the symptoms the same, but it might be for different reasons. So this one might actually come back down to earth once it's fixed, so I think I'm just going to have to order a rebuild kit for it. Take a look at this sucker I bought. Put like 3.5 gallons of water in it. But the whole carburetor is all submersed. Every little part. For reference, this is my hand size. So what I didn't do is pull out the jets and put my reading glasses on to even see them through the camera. But these look awfully big for the fronts. They just looked big. $3.9. Oh, maybe that's a 2. No, that looks like a 9, I guess, unless it's like this. No, that can't be. I can't really see that, but that hole looked big in the secondaries. Perhaps look just as big. I'm going to have to research what size they're supposed to be, because I can kind of see that happening now. I mean, these are apparently bigger. I don't know. Usually you can see the numbers pretty clear on these things. Another thing to think about. The internet will give you $398 on the fronts and $401 on the rears. It was like 120-398 and 120-401. I am just not seeing any of these numbers, really. I mean, come on. $398. Okay, so just saying $398 on both sides. That's a weird 8, but that's what it. That's how they do $398. So that's correct. Looks so much bigger than I expected. I'm trying to find something wrong with the fucking carburetor, to be honest. No. This, it might actually be exactly the same. I'm just not seeing it. Let me look at the other one. That'd be funny if they swapped one or the other. This is so inconclusive. Looks like $893 to me. Unless it's yeah. Maybe it's $398 on the rears as well. Unless, like I said, one on the front, one on the rear. You know, like they have one wrong one on the front and the back. This is so not clear. $3.9. That. $6. I don't know. This doesn't look right. Yeah, that's the only one that looks clear. That weird 8 with the flat top in the bottom. That's how this other one looks, but it's kind of how the rears are. It's so funny. I'm looking at this. That don't look like a 9. It's also something where it's flattened on the top. That one's more like a 398. They almost look like Greek letters, you know. I'm trying to look at it now without the thing. That's so weird. I gather there's a way to test it. You know, I guess I'm gonna put the metering rod through and see how it looks. You know, but this came out cleaner. But I just blew it out. What the hell is this, glue? Some kind of glue or epoxy maybe came out. That's interesting. This thing said don't use glue. That's funny how it's like, gee, that'd be interesting if this was cracked. Unless this is just some, like, liquid Teflon that came out of somewhere and melted in this place. That's very interesting. There's some right in the port there. I was blown with the hole, you know. Gee. See, and these things are pounded, like somebody popped them out and then pounded them back in. And that hole is kind of uneven now. It's like they ended up getting. Maybe I should be popping these out too. I'm like, how the fuck do you pop them out? Interesting. Very interesting. I don't know now. I don't know what to fucking think. I'm like trying to think where it fucking goes to. It just, even if this was clogged with dirt, what would happen? You know? Not quite sure. Yeah, I decided to put the other ones in longer, and this thing too I'm probably going to put by itself. I don't really have any cleaner in there. That's what I should have. I should have went out and bought cleaner. I've been doing it for over an hour now. Oh, boy. Oh, well. It's just all shit I didn't want to do, and now I got to think too hard. What on earth? Oh, nice. Broke this drill bit, but... It's like an uneven amount on the walls here. The ultrasonic cleaning released a lot of this shit. Oh my god. Just pushed it in. Trying to break it free from the walls of this. This is so bizarre. I mean, I gather I thought it just goes right from one of these holes here. I didn't even think about this. I hate to blow in, but... Yeah, so there's like... Yeah, that little slit right there, that's where it's going to. Right there. But I gather it's something that was inside here, like they epoxy these plugs back in. Now it's all full of fucking shit. That's odd. How the hell did you get those things out even? Yeah, it almost never pays to buy. When somebody's ready to sell a carburetor, I think that, you know, it's, unless it's really, really original, you're going to get this. You're going to get people dummying shit up, and then like, oh yeah, I can do it, you know, and then they end up doing more harm than good. And my ultrasonic cleaner says don't put anything in, don't put any glued items in the ultrasonic cleaner. And the thing is, though, carburetor is always meant to do this, you know, to be in ultrasonic cleaners. So this is something that they either use too much of, or just something that, you know, normally happens. And when you ultrasonic clean it, that's when you loosen it all up. And depending how much shit is in there is how long you got to take it off. But I'm like, now do I got to pop out all these things? And I'm like, how the hell do you pop them out? Got the ones in the front here. I'm just curious what would be dirty and what would fuck with the idle, you know? I'm quite flabbergasted, to be honest, because all the shit came out. It was all like stuck on here, so I'm hoping more comes out if I do it longer now. That's bizarre, way bizarre. I gather I should take out this pipe plug as well, because who knows? But this is clear. Nobody messes with this part, you know. Nobody messes with it in the sense that there's many modifications going on there. Oh boy, I'm debating what to do. I mean, did they just hit it on one side and then it comes out? They peened it. So I don't know if that's original or what. I just somehow don't think that they would put epoxy in there. So I might just run it through again and see where this epoxy or this glue, whatever they used, to see where it comes out. Oh, look at inside there. Is that the same stuff? I don't know. Where's that broken drill bit? All right. Nah, it's metal. It's just clean. It definitely looks like it's in this hole where the jet is, if I had to guess. Just trying to see if I can get the thing to stick in there. Yeah, maybe not. Come on. I'm wondering if it's something where you can just bang out a plug. I'm seeing like clean metal at the bottom. I just don't think they're that dirty. But, you know, obviously with the plug in there. Oh, look at. Get out of my pants. Gotta be kidding me. Alright. So what? I don't know if this white stuff is that stuff. Because it's not necessarily sticky, but it could be a trace amount that came out the edge, maybe. That looks like a factory stake. And it's overhanging, where this one here, it's just wallowed. Like, I don't know if they basically bent it and then put it on the table and try to flatten it out a bit. Unless they're all new and they're just, well, that's what happens, they get dented in when you do that. But this is concerning for sure. I'm wondering if because I guess I'm not feeling the bottom of that. It's used parts from another carburetor that I have apart. I have 2 carburetors apart. I would love to feel if there was something sticky at the bottom or something like that. I'm not feeling that. This is definitely compromised. It's like almost a smaller size. But I'm wondering if it was blocking, but I don't see how it's like that important to that degree. And both of these seem, you know, this one seems fine. They seem like they do the same thing, the same kind of ported vacuum, although this one's up higher. I guess that one is, oh yeah, that one's up higher. So that one's manifold vacuum, and this is ported because it's right on the lip, I guess, of where it closes. I'm not sure if this is lowered all the way. Yeah, I guess it is. It's not hitting. That was part of my problem. So, more ultrasonic cleaning. That thing just finished, so I'm going to put this in there now. So, I must say, after leaving it in longer, it came out pretty good. I'm not sure if I still see shit in there, but I think I'm just going to leave it alone at this point. It's pretty clean, you know. Pretty happy, and I just put a chemical in the last 5 minutes. I finally bought some. I bought a neutral chemical. It's a floor stripper, but it's a floor cleaner, I should say. But it's looking like it's neutral was the way to go. But if I had it with the cleaner in there, I really didn't have anything in there. So, but I'm quite impressed with how well it turned out. And like I said, I could have left it in longer and even better, but I just want to take a couple of pictures of the stuff, whatever, you know. Came out pretty good. So I'm just going to put it back together. I'm probably not going to go through the details with that, so let's hope it runs when all is said and done. I'm not sure that RPM, it's still higher than I'd like, but it's doable. But I forgot, I don't know what happened to it. I kind of lost it, the rod here. So I lost that rod there, and so it doesn't have fast idle, but it's so hard to tell what the RPM is right now.
but it should be lower, but it could be timing. I decided to not put on the vacuum line for the distributor. That's another thing. So I hope you're getting everything, but if anything, I'll make another video of me just speaking. But I'm gonna play with it a little more. Alright, there it goes. I don't know why it's taking so long to come down. Maybe the distributor. Might also have been way too advanced, maybe.
It's got to be killing the neighbors. I have to say that is way advanced. That's why when you rev it, it goes up and it takes a long time to come down. I keep retarding it and it keeps starting, so it's like, I'm gonna get so I'm gonna start burning these fucking wires. I don't want to do that. So ultimately, I tell you, what looks like you're lined up right with the distributor sometimes is not always the case. One last start to see if it actually starts. Oh, that's funny. So maybe that was the spot for the timing, technically. Let's see what happens if I bring it up a little. I can hear it spraying at least. That's enough. All right. Whew. Anyway, so I forgot this rod, so it didn't go into high mode. But I was like, you know what? That's actually good. I mean, not that I lost it, but good that I don't have a false sense of something telling me that the idle is high. But I really felt, you know, all this stuff kind of moves, and it's not usually an issue. So I don't think that was the problem. It might have something to do with that plastic that was melting out, or whatever the fuck it was that was melting out of this. And that's why this side actually is a little, it's not going up so high. It needed to come out, but this one is out a lot more. And the idle just kept going up and up and up and up. Maybe it'll improve as time goes on. This is probably not the best core, you know? And that's really what it comes down to. And somebody starts to take... Now, listen, the guy that has the tools to pop them out and to clean it out properly, I suppose I can do it. I can find out about getting new plugs, because I'm probably going to destroy them coming out if I take it apart again. But it makes me further believe that the other carburetor is just, you know, internal. You know, I mean, it's not that it's not fixable, but I definitely got to move that distributor over. I suppose I could put a timing line on it as well. Right now, these wires are way too fucking short. It's funny though, like, exhaust manifolds aren't even that hot. That's crazy how when you have no pipe on there, ooh, that one is fucking hot as fuck. I'm wondering if I got a misfire here. One half of the fucking engine? I don't know. Unless the cylinder is not firing the one that's touching the thing, because that's where it's not really that hot. That's interesting. It's possible a rocker arm adjustment would make it better, but it's actually sounded like it was running on all cylinders. It's just so hard to tell when you have blaring exhaust coming out, you know. So I'm happier, I can tell you that much. But it's leading to the other carburetor needing to get done. I suppose it's okay, you know. I just suppose it probably needs to be ultrasonic cleaned as well, and to get the orifices clean or something, you know. Something is off with it for sure. Not quite sure what it is either. It seems so trivial, because it's like everything looks like it's open. Oh, it's really really crazy sometimes when you go through. Like, you know, it's supposed to be factory refurbished. I mean, to me that means that they take it all apart and rebuild it. You know, so I don't know. I think I had enough. I think the neighbors had enough of that noise. And, but I'm not sure about this plastic hose. Even that's the other thing. That thing is leaking. I don't know if it's supposed to have an allowable amount of leak. Like, I would spray the brake cleaner through it, and it would shoot out of where it needs to shoot out up here. But it's a little bit coming out of there, you know, which is weird, you know. So, not quite sure what else is going on here with this, but I'm figuring a rebuild kit would do it. I don't know about the plastic line though. It almost looks like it's like heat shrink. You gotta like heat it with a heat gun or something. But I'm a lot happier. I got it down to a normal idle. Of course, I did not have it this retarded, but it almost like didn't want to run. So those are other problems with the carburetor, and that's why it's tough when you have a carburetor bad out of the box, because then you start to second guess everything else. You know, timing being off, you usually find that out right away. Like right away, now that the carburetor is significantly better, I was able to figure out that the distributor was definitely more retarded. But a lot of hell I gotta go through with this just to get it running. Terrible.